The major topic, this was all over the news last year, was in February when Russia invaded Ukraine. It's pretty crazy, actually, if you think about it, that a war in Ukraine, it's not even a neighboring country of Germany, that it had such an impact on Germany, the economics, the people, the politics all over Europe. How was the impact of the war in Ukraine for the real estate market in particular?
So the war, I mean, this was definitely a game changer. I mean, what we have seen since the war has started is inflation, what we have talked about, rising interest rates, what we have talked about, and of course the psychology of the people. I mean, you turn on the TV and every day you see these images from a war that is on your continent and not too far away. And I think it definitely scared people, mostly because, and also investors and business people as a whole, because it was definitely very, it was difficult to make any decision and to really know what is going to happen. So the uncertainty was very high. And what we have seen since February 24th is that inflation has risen since then. I don't want to go into how this came to be, but I mean, this is what we are noticing in the market, and also just rising interest rates. I mean, the central banks have risen their interest rates in a manner that we haven't seen for years, if not decades. I mean, there are a lot of people in the real estate market that haven't seen this kind of rate hikes that we have seen only in these last couple of months in 2022, and that might even continue. So uncertainty is mostly the biggest factor in all of this. A second factor, and this is something that Oleg touched on, is I think also not just the market, but also the humanitarian side. I mean, as horrible as it is, but a lot of people, I think it was the number 1 million immigrants from Ukraine that came to Germany and that are actively looking for housing, of course. And we are a residential developer, so this is our market and we want to serve these people. Of course, it's different kinds of people, and we also have to see what these people will do in the future. But definitely what we see now is that the German population is at an all-time high, as we have talked about, and this is largely due to the immigration from Ukraine that is going to continue. So we will have continuous immigration growth and population growth. And this is generally something that is definitely positive for the demand for housing generally. Of course, it will be difficult sometimes to provide that housing also in a good manner, but generally this is a more positive aspect. So I think generally, and there are definitely a lot of other factors that we could talk about, but those two factors are very big, and I think that the war has had a great impact on the market, and I think ever since this war started, the market has changed.
Usually uncertainty, you mentioned uncertainty is at an all-time high, like the population, and usually uncertainty drives investors into safe havens like gold or also real estate. Do we see the same here, or is uncertainty because of this war so crazy that people also shy away from investing in real estate?
I do think that, I mean, the real estate market is a little bit difficult because you have real estate does not equal real estate. I mean, you have different geographic locations. You have also different types of real estates. We operate in the residential real estate market. I think what people definitely have felt is the rising interest rates, just because you have to make, as a normal investor, take a credit, buy a house or an apartment, and you have to service the debt. So when you have higher interest, this is definitely something that people will feel in their monthly payment check that goes to the bank. And I do think that over time people will adjust to this. but this was of course in 2022 all relatively new, and people were caught by surprise, and I think a lot of people were just waiting. So whether or not real estate is a safe haven, I think we will see in the future. I do believe it is. I also think it is a necessary good. I mean, housing and living in general. And so I do think that people will also with high inflation look to get into safe assets and hard assets, which is by definition real estate. So I do think that generally the outlook for real estate is positive, but it will take time for the market to adjust.
So 2022, a year of shocks. Interest rate increased, shocked the people. Inflation increased, both from zero, shocked the people, and the war that shocked people, of course.
Yes, definitely. We have had in just 1 year so many new aspects to the market and also to life itself. And I think people are adjusting to it. And I think this takes time. And it's very normal that people are just waiting and seeing what will happen. And it's very stressful if you're in the market and you want to continue and grow the business. But I think it's just something that everybody has to deal with now. And so I think over time, I think we will see that people are adjusting to a new environment that will be more uncertain than definitely the last 10 years have been.